Well, welcome to Open House in the Wood Manufacturing Lab. My name is Kyle Swenson. I've got the privilege of working with your students in our wood manufacturing program here at Wayzata High School. In this short video, I would love to give you a quick explanation of some of the things that happen in this beautiful lab, as well as some of the expectations that we have set out for class. Your students are going to hear about skilled trades in this classroom. Our school has done a great job of preparing your students. And one of the things that I think our school is improving on is showing students career opportunities in the skilled trades. I get calls weekly, monthly from companies looking to hire your students. They want to pay for your students to go to technical school or through apprenticeships, and they want them to come work for them because there's such a shortage in skilled trades. I love to give the example of an electrician. An electrician and electrical engineer actually have a very similar salary, but an electrician is out in the field. They're up on ladders. They're in attics. They're moving. It's an incredibly important profession for our country, and the pay is phenomenal. A journeyman electrician that takes 4 or 5 years to become a journeyman is going to make about $80,000 a year, and that's with very little to no student loan debt. There's stories that we can tell all day long about students that have been successful in skilled trades, and we just like to highlight some of those things. So whether it's a cabinet maker, a plumber, an auto repair person, an HVAC technician, these are all super in-demand careers that we like to talk a little bit about in our wood manufacturing lab. Now that sounds kind of funny. Why are we talking about those different trades in wood manufacturing? Well, because we are really trying to emphasize the manufacturing part of it. Our school has invested a ton of resources into this room to bring it into the 21st century, and it is a joy to be able to work here. As you walk around the classroom, you're going to see things like, as you walk in the door, a Cnc router. That's a router. It's about a $40,000 purchase that we were able to write some grants for and get some support from the school on. But students can go upstairs. You can see I'm pointing to our Wayzata Design Studio, and there are 9 laptop computers up there that are permanently set up for students to design and draw things in 3D using SketchUp or Inventor, and then we can send those to our CNC router, and that can cut our projects out for our students. Now, not all the project can get done on there, but a huge percentage of our projects can be automated if students want to go that route. We like to call this class an applied engineering class because there's some design that we do, there's some building that we do, and if you get to the advanced woods class, we've even got a unit on selling what it is that we're building. So students can see the whole manufacturing process. It doesn't matter if we're making medical devices, Harley-Davidson motorcycles, or cabinets. All manufacturing has a raw materials, a process that happens to it, and then a sale of that product because it is now more valuable. And we love to emphasize that with our students. I know that not every student that comes into this shop is going to be a cabinet manufacturer, so we want to broaden students' horizons and maybe open the doors to some careers that they never thought were even possible for them. Some other really amazing things that we've got in our class here is we've got a laser engraver that just showed up last year. That laser engraver can cut up through a 1/2 inch thick of wood. It's a really powerful 90-watt laser, way more powerful than one that we've had previously. That's a tool that students can use to add value to their projects, and also it's a 21st century skill. Learning how to manipulate and work with vector images is something that is touching a lot of industry right now. You're also going to see our traditional woodworking equipment as we're in the back of the shop. The table saws, the miter saws, the panel saws, all of those things your students learn to use. But you'll notice if you look at our panel saw and our miter saw that we're going to have digital readouts on there. So students use a tape measure and a ruler a lot, but they're also learning how to convert fractions to decimals because a lot of our machines are so precise that we're getting them accurate to 1/1000th of an inch. So students are engaging in old school stuff, new school stuff. We've even got a 3D printer in our design studio up there that can print wood. So the resin that goes through the 3D printer has got sawdust in it, and we can sand, clear coat, stain, paint, and finish all of that stuff to make it look like it's a part of your students' projects. And our classwork is designed for students to use all of these different machines. And if your student has a great experience in this 9-week introduction class, we've got a class called Precision Wood Manufacturing where all students do is projects on the CNC router. So they'll be very self-sufficient. By the end of that 9-week class, they'll feel very comfortable walking up to that great big 4x8 CNC router, programming it and running it with no help from me. Also with the CNC routers, we've got some smaller ones over there. We've got a smaller black one against the wall. That one works just the same as the large one, it's just on a small scale. It's a little bit easier for students to start small and work big. And we've also got another CNC router that I've got stored in the cage back there that's about the same size as that one. That again, it's just a nice place for students to start. So in this class, we're going to start out by building a cutting board. In fact, your student probably has that half done already. And that first project is designed for students to use all of the different equipment in here. Along with that project is a safety test on each of the pieces of machines that your students will use. And they've got to get 100% on those safety tests or they can't use it. Don't worry, there's opportunity for relearning, and we'll get to that in a second if your student doesn't pass the first time. So feel free to walk around and look at our machines. It's some pretty cool stuff. The only thing I ask is that you don't turn it on, but if you've got questions, Mr. Pashina is right next door, and he'd be happy to help with any questions that you have. We're going to start out by building the cutting board, then we get to the bookshelf, which is about 24 inches tall, 15 inches wide, has an adjustable shelf in there, and that's built out of alder particle board for the casework, and then solid alder for the parts that are going to take some more abuse. So students learn an American style of cabinet making with a face frame. In Woods 2, we get to the more European style, more modern look where we don't do face frames on our furniture and cabinets that we build. And then after that, they get some choice. So there's going to be one choice, which is my favorite one. It's a floating nightstand. So it goes on the wall, and I'm actually going to rig up over here in the corner a drywalled wall for students to practice installing it. I'm going to have an install kit that students can check out for me. A tool bag with a drill, some screws, and some drywall anchors, and they're going to practice installing it here so that when they bring it home and install it, they're not making unnecessary holes in the wall, and that this thing actually stays on the wall. Now, if you don't want them to put holes in the wall, that's totally fine. There's some other projects that they can choose from, but that project will be 15 inches wide, 7 inches tall, 12 inches deep, and it'll have a drawer, and it'll look like it's floating on the wall next to their bed, or at least that's what it's designed for. You can use it for anything else. You can even have an option of a wireless charger that goes in the top of it, so students can lay their mobile devices on there, and it will charge them without seeing any wires or anything like that. And there's also other options, like as you're walking out the door, there is a clock with a Trojan head on it. That's all done on CNC. That's going to be an optional project for students to do as well. I'm still working on these options. I think there's going to be 4 for your students to choose from, but they'll take about a week and a half to build to finish up our class time together. As we all know, in 2020, the world kind of went crazy and commodity prices have gone up and down and up and down. And our lumber has followed that roller coaster. And so in the 11 years that I've been here, we've never raised lab fees. And I'm not starting to do that this year. But that's why we're changing our projects. If you've had students come through here in the past, you'll notice that our projects are a little bit different this year because we're trying to make them more affordable. So I'm not raising lab fees, making it more expensive to be in here. A couple of nuts and bolts things about our class. On the back side of the podium that you'll see, there are 5 rules. I expect students to be on time, be respectful. We can do some work after school, so if your student's behind, I'm here till 4 o'clock almost every day. I can ping them for our time. That's a half an hour block in the middle of the day that students can come to and work with their teachers if they're requested. It's a great option for students who are after school sports and they leave 4th block early. As far as grading goes, 70% of our grade is the projects that students do, 20% is the assignments that we work on, and 10% is tests like safety tests and our final. Whenever an assignment is due, it's open for a week past the due date. So if a student doesn't like the grade that they get, they can redo it, submit it, and I'll regrade that up to a week. And then after the week, that assignment is closed, and we can't come back and get points for it. If you have any questions, see anything that's wrong on a grade book or something doesn't make sense as you're walking around the shop tonight, feel free to reach out to me, kyle.swenson@wyzettaschools.org, and I'd love to reach out and have a time where we can talk or answer any of your questions on email. You've only got about 30 seconds left until that bell is going to ring. Again, sorry I missed you. Look forward to meeting you, maybe at parent-teacher conferences, or feel free to stop by. I love to chat, and I love to talk about what we're doing here. It's great to have your student. Have a great rest of your evening.